cat in the wall, eh? Okay, now you're talking my language.
Do you ever drunk Baileys from a shoe?
Oh, great. Thanks, Mother, for replacing the baby aspirin with LSD.
All right, welcome into the View from C-Deck. I'm just Matt, and I just got out of the way of that official running down the sideline, so I wasn't number 39, number 44 for Georgia. But this is Ohio State podcast, and we're ready to preview the freaking Cotton Bowl in Texas, going in there to play the Longhorns. Buckeyes, though, already favored big, 6.5 on some sides, 6 on others. And the death machine has been rolling. Texas looked vulnerable last game. It's hard not to get too excited about a team that all of us, especially on this podcast too, were down on, not just like a month and a half ago. But I'm going to start real quick here with my man, the Haas. You weren't on our reaction, our instant reaction to Oregon. So how did you feel about that freaking beatdown? How rock hard were you when we were up 34-0 in the first half?
Loved everything about it. Loved the defense being creative with their looks, changing it up, going 3 down linemen, which that was interesting. 3-2-6 basically at some points, 4-2. It was just awesome. Defensive line did exactly what I thought they needed to do, was contain, just slowly collapse the pocket without collapsing the pocket integrity and letting him get outside the pocket. He had like maybe 2 or 3 runs. In the first game, he probably had like 10, 12 runs where he got outside the pocket and made plays. Yeah, it was just all around dominance by the defense. I was more impressed with the defense really than I was the offense was just spectacular. Don't get me wrong, but just the defense being able to just shut them out like they did and basically put up a blank in the first half was just jaw dropping. That's just the type of complete performance you need in big games like that to just pull away.
Yeah, and they came out just freaking on fire. But Direwolf, we've been on fire 2 games in a row, but so is Texas at the start. If this game kicks off, do you think either team can get out to a quick start like they did in their first 2 playoff matchups?
Yeah, that's one of the 2 big things that concerns me in this. I think we're going to roll, but like I mentioned in the previous podcast, we've been starting out fast, but Texas has too. It's kind of hard to just keep doing that every game over and over and over. But maybe we both score fast early on and it looks like a shootout and then our defense tightens up. Maybe something like that happens. But the other thing that concerns me is we've been highly motivated the past 2 games and we almost have to like create motivation, like disrespect that Downs didn't win the Thorpe or Smith didn't win freshman of the year, things like that. They got to they got to get brainwashed that nobody respects you. These guys won your awards. That's the only thing I could think of.
I just keep rolling 13-10 in the damn locker room. That's all. I think that should be all the motivation you need. If you want to make up for that, you got to keep going. It's not over yet. So we'll start off though looking at our offensive side of the ball against their defense, I guess. And the offense has been nuts. And we were just talking right before the podcast. And Texas has a great D too. Like they are great. And I'm watching them many times this year. I think they're as complete a defense as us and as there is in the country. All 3 levels, they got guys that can make plays, fly around. Their linebackers, you're gonna hear it a lot this week. Speed. But they really do. They freaking fly. Their D-line, they have a great edge rusher. That is the freshman of the year, Colin Simmons. They won the Thorpe Award there at corner, and they have great safety play too. Like they're talented all over, but they've given up a lot of points in several games because their offense is inconsistent. So maybe they can wear down. Who knows? But can our offense, though, can it be stopped? We have now played 8 games against top. I think this will be our 8th one, maybe, against top 20 defenses this year. 8. And we've scored a lot of points in all those games, except for, a couple we didn't. I guess Penn State and Nebraska, and of course the game at the end of the year. But a lot of those games were surrounded by injury. Like we had close injuries to our offensive line, very close to those games, and had to do some reshuffling. Now we suddenly look like a Death Star against 2 top 10 defenses the last 2 weeks. Who wins this battle? What are the keys? Haas, I'll start with you.
I do think it could be a game of us trying to be just disciplined. Like you have 2 big games like we just did. You got to kind of stay focused. That's going to be the tricky thing, is stay focused. But what I think the big rallying cry could be is going into basically a home environment for them. Just going in there against the crowd. It's going to be a very heavy Texas crowd, probably. Who knows? But the keys to this game is, I think it's going to be tackling. Okay, their running backs on offense is going to be just keep doing what we're doing. Don't pucker up. Try to hit them early and often, like Georgia did in that first game against Texas. They were up 23-0 at halftime, somewhere around there. And Texas kind of came back. You just got to get on them early. I don't think this team has a lot of resiliency. A lot of teams collapse too, but I think that's the game plan. Sticking around in the end, they kind of find ways to win. They might just kind of take inspiration from the Arizona State game, but I think tackling is going to be a big thing. Both the running backs on both sides of the ball can make big plays, so I think tackling is a big thing.
I'm going to disagree real quick there before you go, Casey. They have not run the ball well in big games besides A&M.
No, they average like 5 yards a carry. I know, but they're big running backs. I'm just saying they're physical, big, hard hitters, and I think if tackling them, getting them down quick is key.
They had 15 yards rushing the first game against Georgia and 29 the second game. I'm not worried about their running backs. Go ahead, Casey. What do you think about the offensive matchup here? Can Jeremiah keep doing what he's doing against the Thorpe winner? Because that's probably going to be the big matchup.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The key on the offensive side of the ball, I mean, I feel like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We've been getting creative. That first touchdown run, that was beautiful. It wasn't a run, but it was basically a run. It seemed like just perfect blocking, confusing the defense, just stuff like that. And then that play action with JJ wide open on the right side of the field there, and that touchdown, those types of plays, just keep doing that stuff. Feed number 4. I don't care if he's doubled, just give it to him. Just keep doing the same thing. To me, it's simple. If we play like we have the last 2 games, the opponent doesn't really matter. We're going to freaking dominate. But if we don't, then who knows?
Yeah, stay aggressive, pass the ball to set up the run, because they're a very big D-line too. We're not going to move them around. We haven't been able to move around pretty much anybody without getting the box unstacked, making them play the pass first, basically, make them think that they have to maybe lose a little bit of discipline in their run assignments to try and get to the passer, because we can shred them. But they do have, like I said, all 3 levels they can make plays, so they shouldn't be too afraid to play us more straight up than a lot of teams have to. But I don't know if it matters, because our skill, good offenses beat good defenses in modern football, period. That's just how it is, because of the rules, because of just the designs. I mean, there was a play actually I wanted to talk about in the Oregon game where they ran a man in motion. It was Tez Johnson ran him in motion, or no, it might have been Holden. Either way, he ran him in motion, and as he crossed, they snapped the ball as he passed the second receiver. They were in trips, right? And he was moving. It was almost like a CFL play. He was moving towards the line of scrimmage before the snap, and they didn't call it. And I was like, man, if they start letting that stuff go in college football, this is over. No one will ever stop a good offense. And the RPOs also are basically illegal plays that people are able to use. And we'll see a lot of that out of Texas. That was what was very effective for them against Arizona State. But to my point, we're a good offense, and we figured out how to mask our deficiencies on the offensive line now. I think at this point it's pretty clear. A lot of misdirection. We're running run motion. We're pulling guys like we're running the ball to set up pass plays so that teams can't attack us. And somebody brought up a good point on one of my sites that they did get pressure. Tennessee and Oregon both did when we ran straight drop back passes. So we still can't pass block that well, in a straight drop back sense. So we need to limit that as much as we can. But I'm confident in Chip Kelly right now.
Yeah. No, I think that's another interesting aspect is neither one of these quarterbacks you really want to respect. You can't really respect their legs. I mean, yours is still kind of, I don't know if he's 100% yet. Will Howard has the capabilities, but these aren't true dual threat. I'm just saying, I think both teams are going to try to dial up pressure at certain situations like Texas did in the Arizona State game, bringing corner blitzes, not something that we do very often. I think we're going to have to get dynamic with some of the pressures, where we bring pressure from, and both teams are going to have to do that to kind of get pressure on these quarterbacks. Because both offensive lines have shown that they're pretty okay at times.
Texas can pass block. I'll say real quick before I go back to Dyer. The most overrated thing about Will Howard coming in here was his running ability. You don't have to account for it. He's not going to hurt you enough that you have to account for it. Yeah. And the most underrated thing was he's a freaking accurate as hell passer. A lot of times he really is, way more than I thought.
He's gotten better. He's definitely gotten better from the beginning of the season. He's getting used to these legit receivers that he finally has, and his accuracy he's at his peak right now.
Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing. I was all about letting Howard run the ball a little bit earlier on in the season when he came in. It felt like that's what we brought him in for. But then I swear every time he runs the ball, it's like, holy crap. Like it looks like something's wide open and he'll get like 3 yards.
Mhm.
So like even the good runs aren't good. So just stop it. I'm okay with 1 or 2, but we don't need a lot of that. But one big thing I've been saying till I'm blue in the face is give Trey the damn ball more. I don't understand. I like Quinshon, but I swear to God, every time he touches the ball, it's like guaranteed first down, touchdown. I mean, good things happen almost every single time he touches the ball.
Quinshon sprinkled in is very nice. He definitely hits the hole harder than Travion. He gets it and goes. And I feel like Quinshon's guaranteed just to hit that hole harder and get pretty good sustainable yards on first down. I like them both sprinkled in, but yeah, all season long it's been give 60, 40, 70, 30 split. And we're seeing, hey, it's worked. Travion's healthy. He's fast, and it's got us to this point.
It has. I wish at this point we switched the ratio because it's great to have an All-American running back basically to give him a spell. But I just wish he got more than like 7 carries a game.
We haven't needed him the past 2 games too, which is, we have these huge leads the past, and it's like, okay, kind of using 50-50 still. I mean, we'll see if that changes here. Hopefully not. Hopefully it just keeps, we don't need him.
And
Yeah.
One more point, I was finally screaming at the TV, like I want Trey to get the ball, but not when we're up by 30 freaking points and it's the last drive. I'm like, I swear to God, if the dude gets hurt.
That's for an off-season pod again about Ryan Day, who just refuses to put in backups in any sort of situation, basically.
Oh, he's going all in this year because next year, who the hell knows who the hell's on this team?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's you can say that about any team. All right, now though, the other side of the ball, the one Jason's been harping on a lot this year, and the one that I think proved on New Year's that they are the best defense in the country, and that the game against Oregon, they maybe not a fluke, I wouldn't call it that, but they learned their lessons. They figured out what they needed to be elite, and now they are elite. And that's basically let Caleb Downs make effing plays. Yes. And help the pass rush when we need to, but we didn't blitz against Oregon, and it ended up being a great call because we totally had him flustered with Caleb in the middle of the field. But I mean, this is a worse offense. Quinn Ewers he doesn't throw for a high yardage per attempt. He throws a lot of short stuff. He's in it. They throw deep balls, but he's not accurate. It's like Will Howard. He underthrows them like pretty severely. Gets way too much air underneath him. And it comes probably from his sidearm release. It's not coming over the top. He's not driving the ball. Are you worried about anything? They can't run the ball against good teams. They have not been able to this year. I think we can shut them down without having to overcommit to the run. They don't really have the play. It's more the playmakers too. They have like some talent. Wingo's talented. They got some speed at running back, but it's like they're on their like 3rd and 4th string running back though too from some injuries they had. Do you think they can score over 20 against us? Is my question.
They can play the dink and dunk game. They've got decent tight end. They have decent tight end. The running backs are, they're averaging like 5 yards. Like that, they would be fine just getting 4 yards of carry and doing long drives. I think that this is a team that would be built for that. I think Ewers is experienced enough to. I could see them scoring over 20, and they have the receivers capable enough that he's willing just to chuck it up there and see what happens. And the receivers are good enough to make plays on our cornerbacks. That's one thing that I am worried about. Is if he does get time and just says, F it, I'm throwing it up and gets a couple defensive pass interferences, which they're probably coming. We're due for that. But I think they can score over 20.
I don't think I think the only way they're scoring over 20 is if we turn the ball over. If we put them in good positions, they got a short field. But if we're clean and they have to drive 80 yards to score 75 yards, I only see them doing that once, maybe twice. Like maybe 17 is the max I see them getting if we play a clean football game. I'm thinking more like 13.
Yeah, which could happen. Well, we haven't done it yet against 2 good defenses in the playoff. Let Will Howard, give him confidence by letting him throw early and often, just like you have. I mean, they've got it figured out, I think, on offense now. But yeah, with our D line against their line is good, but it's banged up right now, and they just played a real physical game. And I think we didn't have to. They couldn't. They ended up throwing the ball 40 something times. Oregon did, so we should be fresh and ready to go still. An extra 9 days off or whatever we have in between games. This is playing into what we need it to play into. And so now we have to talk about Day versus Sarkisian, which you would have said. I mean, I'm not a Sark guy, and I'll say this: you guys know me. I didn't pick Texas to make the playoff in the preseason. I thought they were overrated. Their defense is better than I thought it'd be, but their offense is worse than I thought it would be. And I don't trust Sark. And they have kicking issues too, just like we did. We may have the kicking advantage of all things coming into this game just because their guys missed a bunch in the last 2 games, and Fielding just went 2 for 2 on kicks that he usually struggles with. But Sark versus Day, right now you got to like Day, right? And the coaching staff as a whole.
I would say so. I mean, Day has – I guess I don't remember how long he's been a coach, like a head coach. How many?
This is his 6th year.
6th year, so, but Day has more big game experience, right? Like way more playoff experience. So
yeah, this is Sark's 3rd.
Yeah, so I think you got to give him the edge. But one thing, just real quick on the defense, I meant to say is we are due for a freaking turnover. We've been dominating defense, so we're due for one too, and that could be a huge difference in the game. But yes, Day.
Yeah, that's a big thing. We have dominated these games and haven't forced a turnover yet.
Yeah,
nuts.
Yeah, I didn't watch the Clemson game. That game was pretty much over from the beginning. But the Arizona State game, that was just a hard-fought game. I don't think Sark really called a bad game. In overtime there, they kind of got things rolling. He kind of just let him play. James Franklin was the one in their game when I was like, that was typical James Franklin, 4th, 3rd, and 1, and they're doing bootlegs, trick plays, like why not running up the middle? I didn't get really a whole lot of that ideas from Sark. So maybe Sark's matured a little bit. Us being up here, haven't watched a lot of their games. I'd still give the edge to Ryan Day, and Chip Kelly's calling the plays right now. And Jim Knowles he's changing up the looks right now. And yours, it's going to be getting 1 week to prepare for us is going to be a complicated thing for them too. Both these defenses though, I think their defense is very complex too. They show you a lot of looks too. That's going to be the one thing to watch to see what quarterback can kind of, adjust on the fly and read defenses quicker.
Yeah, there's the revenge angle too, the motivation. He screwed us over, man. He stuck us with Honda McCord. I'm just kidding. He did what was best for him. It made sense at the time.
Yeah.
Also, but fuck him. It's hate week for him. Yeah, motivation wise, I guess the big thing is don't let our health get too much in the clouds. Like we're the favorite now. What are we, almost even money now to win the national championship? Like, yeah. We're the heavy favorites. We're the hunted now, but we need to embrace it. And I think they'll be able to do that. I think these guys know, like I said, that if they really want to be remembered as a great team, they have to win the national championship, or else they accomplish nothing here. Even with these great wins, and the first, like our biggest win over a number 1 team ever, 20 points that's the most we've ever beat a number 1 team by, and they were the clear number 1 team coming into the playoff. Like at the end of the season, it wasn't like some number 1 at week 5 that finishes 18th. Like they're the legit number 1 team in the country coming into that game. So just know that just got to cut. Now it's time for the swagger, what we always talk about, especially with the scum game. Just have the swagger coming out. Can they do it? I think you can.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping, and I don't think it's possible, but the easy thing to do is get a big head, right? Like you've been just dominating. So obviously not like they're going to take a playoff team lightly, but it's like they operated at their peak, like probably better than some of them even thought that they could play. So it's just hard to keep doing that 3 games in a row. So, I mean, I'd be shocked if we just absolutely freaking blew their doors off like the past 2 opponents. But then again, why would I be shocked? I don't know. It's a hard thing to explain. Just haven't felt like this.
I'd say, I mean, these are very 3 different teams that we are playing here. I think this is the biggest and most physical team we will play. I think the rest of the whole year we've played and going forward, they are big on the defensive line, offensive line. They've got big running backs. Like, this is going to be a hard-hitting game more than likely. So this is going to be punch them in the mouth, and this could be a 4 quarters game, very similar to that Clemson game where it's like a hard-hitting classic. I mean, it's going to be, I think, a different mindset of they're going to get in there and just be a boxing match in the trenches and see who comes out. And I think we've been tested the last 2 weeks in that the trench. We've won that trench, the trench battle, and so that's what I'm most looking forward to too.
I think we win it again. So now, put the chips down. Where are our bets going? Ohio State -6, over under 53.5. I'm going to start out. I do think the first half might be a little more low scoring just because they come out so hot too. Their defense is so good. The adjustments at halftime are going to be key, but I think we can make those, especially on defense. I think we can shut them down in the second half once we figure out what they are trying to do, how they're trying to attack us. And I think we can figure it out on offense too, just because we have the weapons. We have the guys that can make the plays to get the points in the end. So I'm going to take the Buckeyes 31-17 in this game. And I think the 17 maybe being generous, but 31-17. So I guess I take the under there on the total, but I'll kick us to cover.
I'm going to say 27-13. Lower scoring, probably. I feel like the under will hit in this one. The odds of us just, blowing down the field 4 or 5 drives in a row to open the game again, I feel like that's pretty low. And I just don't see their offense scoring a whole lot of points. So it's going to be one of those where maybe we get an early lead and then hopefully we don't pucker too much, but our defense just takes us to victory.
Yeah, if we tackle well, I don't see their running backs making an impact in the running game. And if we can just bottle them up, this should be – I think we get ahead of them early. I think we can blow them out if we just come out early like the same. And I don't see their offense being able to keep up with us. So I'm going to say 38. I'm going to say 38-21. I say they come back late at the end just to kind of get some late scoring points there.
So we all think we cover easily. We've all been off on we thought close games in the first. Well, Jason kind of thought we'd beat Tennessee. Not that bad, but we cover. We all thought closer games and we blow them out. And now we all think blowout. So it's bound to be a closer game, right?
Yeah.
I guess start sweating.
Give me a sweat, baby. Just give me a sweat. But should be a good time in the Cotton Bowl. I do expect Texas to totally dominate the crowd, though, and that could also make, I think, the first half more interesting. Because, I figured their fans are cocky. They probably thought they were going to be there for sure with the draw they got, playing 2 of the 3 lowest-ranked teams in the playoff to get here. And our fans probably weren't thinking ahead about that at all and already had to travel out far away. Texas fans aren't going to have to go get a $1,000 plane flight to get there and aren't going to have to rent out hotels. They can just drive their day of. So I expect probably 75-25 Longhorns, maybe 70-30, something like that. So that could be a tough thing to overcome. But go Bucks, keep the fucking train rolling, keep smashing them. These games have been so goddamn fun. Is this as fun as 2014 for both of you?
Oh, yeah. As a whole, no, because of Michigan. But last two.
I mean the playoff run.
Yeah, these last 2 games, I think I can't even think of something that would compare as far as domination against 2 elite teams in a row at the end of the year.
Yeah, I really hope we finish this thing off because this is going to go down as for the ages. This is the big one. This is the one where I think we win this one and it's there, man. And I'm getting ready. I wasn't really sweating the Oregon game. Wasn't for sure we were going to win, but Jesus, home game for them. This is a tough one.
There's a lot of great stories, I think, for every team that's in the playoffs, except for maybe Penn State. But they kind of have the Franklining and trying to overcome that type of thing. But I think everybody else has like a really cool story, including Texas, really getting the home game here and Ewers trying to win it and them not having won in a while. But yeah, this has been just so much fun, and I hope if we just plow through Texas, that would just add to it. But for the Haas and the Direwolf, I'm just Matt, and this is the View from C-Deck. Like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you think is going to happen in the Cotton Bowl. Should be fun next Friday, 7:30 kickoff. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Kind of early, so should be enjoyable for everybody here and get you to bed at a normal time. But
midnight.
Yeah, midnight. And we will see you guys next time at midnight.
Hey guys! Whoa, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later.